No, mira, la verdad es que me siento muy bien. Yo, en lo personal, no pongo ninguna excusa. Eh, Creo que no perdí la pelea. Creo que me ganó 4, 5 rounds máximo. En los últimos rounds me fatigué un poco, eh, pero obviamente me siento bien. Creo que hice las cosas como tenía que hacerlas y me siento bien, me siento bien. Vamos a ver, vamos a ir y pensar qué es lo que vamos a hacer, pero me siento bien. No, no creo que perdí la pelea, como te digo. Perdí algunos rounds, en los últimos rounds me fatigué un poco, creo que por el peso quizás no me sentí al 100%.
So the question was, well, obviously you were lost to Floyd Mayweather, but looking at this fight that you took, that many people in this division that you fought at tonight didn't want anything to do with, can you tell us your feelings and what's next for you? So, and the answer from Canelo was, so personally, I'm feeling good. I'm not giving any excuses. I do feel like I won the fight. I think perhaps, maybe I lost 4 or 5 rounds, but I definitely didn't lose the fight. I think I got a little bit tired towards the final rounds, but I felt good. So we'll see what's next. As I say, I don't feel like I lost the fight. Maybe some rounds. Maybe the weight was a slight issue and made me feel not 100% during the fight.
What's good, family? So smash the like button, subscribe, and lick off the bell. So we just heard there from your man's Canelo. Man, I can't lie, this whole post-fight, whatever you want to call it, wasn't a good look, to be honest. In the ring, Alvarez was adamant he wanted a rematch. That's just one example. Now, in this post-fight press conference, that all changed. Yeah? All of a sudden, he need to talk to his boss, he need to talk to his management team. Oh, well, we need to discuss it. But before that, an hour before, he was rock hard for the rematch. Why do I tell you that? Well, this guy has just said to you in the post-fight press conference, I definitely won. There's no way Bivol won. I definitely didn't lose. He only won 4 or 5 rounds. Well, let's do the maths here. Also, by the way, just quickly, Alvarez alleges he felt good. Yeah? So you felt good. Bivol only won 4 or 5 rounds. If that was the case, why? Explain the change. Explain how. If Alvarez really believed he won and he felt good and he got robbed, essentially, why do you suddenly need to talk to your management team and discuss things? Because I know myself. If I know I won a fight, if I know I felt good, if I know it was kind of a robbery, I'll be saying, listen, the same way I told you in the ring interview, I want the rematch. I want it even more now, because I feel what I'm saying. Because I know for a fact I only lost 4 rounds. And that's why I've always found, I've seen this a few times, not with Alvarez, but with other fighters, where they say that they won the fight, but then, in fact, great example recently, Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor said he won the fight. The difference is, he actually did win it on the cards, but you know what I'm saying? Josh Taylor blatantly lost that fight. And he insists he did win the fight, but then doesn't want the rematch. Oh? Explain the math. The maths is it's impossibility. If the fight was easy, if you won the fight, if you felt good, the rematch should be no problem, should it? But these guys, and that's why I don't believe this whole narrative of, oh well, fighters have this different brain and they're confident and they have to know. Yeah? Because no matter how confident or no matter how delusional you might be, people know. And I've done a little bit of sparring myself. You know when you're down bad. It really isn't rocket science. Everyone knows. Don't get me wrong. You can have sparring sessions where it's kind of 50-50. But guess what? Them sparring sessions where it's 50-50, you equally know it's 50-50. Alvarez wasn't saying it was 50-50. He said he definitely won. So in them sparring sessions where you definitely win, guess what? If I have a sparring session where I've definitely won it, I know I got no problem running it back with that guy. Do you understand? So if you definitely won, and it was you weren't too bad, and you wasn't hurt, and whatever else, and why ain't you rock hard for the rematch? You should be running into it. Oops. Yeah? Do you understand? And that's the tell there. So I don't want to hear no more about nothing else. Alvarez knows he's been got. Just by his comments about how he ain't too keen on the rematch. And it wouldn't even be so bad if, in the post-fight interview, because often we do hear this political narrative of, oh, I need to speak to my team. Fair enough. If Alvarez had to come out with that from the jump, fair play. We couldn't maybe read in too much to it, but the fact he was, when he was in front of his own fans, and it kind of would have looked awkward. Alvarez didn't want to sit there and say, oh, I don't know about the rematch in front of his fans, who have just come out and spent money and watched him lose. In pretty pathetic fashion as well, by the way, people. Bear in mind, it's Cinco de Mayo. Bear in mind all the great Mexican champions who have been involved in wars, and Alvarez's fans were booing him. Because for the last 6 rounds, all he did was the first 30 seconds, the first 45 seconds, and then just sat on the ropes. They were saying, what are we paying for? Where's the Cinco de Mayo spirit? That's what they were saying. We've never seen Alvarez booed before. He was booed. And after that, Alvarez didn't want to come out and say, I don't want a rematch. Of course, he wants to keep the bravado going. Yeah, no problem. We can do it again. But once he was out of the fan environment, all of a sudden, I need to talk to my management team. Yeah? So I'm sick of this, and it's not just Alvarez, but I'm sick of the whole lot of them lying to themselves, because you ain't lying to no one else. You don't want it. You know you didn't win the rounds, and you know you got beat. Just suck it up. Especially when, and I feel like the media, gotta be honest, the media went hard on Wilder, as did I. But I'm consistent here. Let's be consistent. There's Canelo Alvarez fans, or channels, who are shilling. Oh, Alvarez ain't make no excuses. He make excuses. All of a sudden, he talking about the weight. But the weight wasn't a problem when he popped Kovalev. Yeah? When Kovalev went on the heap, when Kovalev went into a heap on the floor, there weren't no problem about the weight. Because if there was, he wouldn't have gone back there. Do you understand? It's not like fair enough, yeah? If this was Alvarez's first fight at 175, you can say, well, he didn't know. He know how 175 feel. And if anything, he's 2-3 years older than that. Which means he's grown into the weight, which he has. In fact, for the Kovalev fight, didn't Alvarez go from 160 to 175? I think he skipped 168. Alvarez hadn't actually fought at 168 yet, I don't think. But whatever way you look at it, bottom line is, I'm not playing these weird games no more. I'm sick of these weird games, and to be honest, I've lost a lot of respect for Canelo in the last few days. Number one, I expected more in the ring. I expected to see more spirit. Yeah, Alvarez is supposed to be an out-and-out winner. Someone hungry who loves the challenge. Alvarez himself has kind of lambasted Ryan Garcia for not being dedicated to his game. And I'm sorry, in that ring, Alvarez didn't look dedicated to his craft as such. He didn't show me in what round did you see Canelo fighting. Think of all the, I'm not a historian, but look at throughout history, there's been great fighters and there's been average fighters who have come back from adversity. Or there's been other fighters who haven't necessarily won, but they've fought to try and win. You can see it night and day. And even when they lose, they put all their chips in. Yeah? A recent example I've used before, Wilder versus Fury 3. Even both men, to be honest, both men on the canvas, tough fight. Now, Wilder doesn't have the skill that Alvarez does, but nonetheless, he put all of his chips in. Whatever skill he did have, he threw it all in and went out face first. Yeah? So to be honest, on hindsight, I don't even mind Deontay Wilder's excuses now, because to be fair to him, excuse or not, he put all of his chips in. And in fact, he also got whooped in that second fight. And guess what? He wanted the rematch. Straight back in there to get whooped again. Do you understand? Alvarez didn't take nowhere near as a whooping as Wilder did. And he making excuses. Not as bad, but still, he making excuses. Oh, the weight and whatever else. And he ain't want the rematch. He didn't like it. And that's that mindset of... that kind of bully mindset. Oh, an on-top mindset. Alvarez clearly enjoys to be on top. As do most people. But again, everyone's given Alvarez this credit of being great. Oh, the greatest ever. Well, I'm sorry. Being the greatest ever isn't defined by your easy fights where you knock everyone out. Being the greatest ever is when you get faced with adversity and you find a way to win anyway. Or you die trying. That's, in my opinion, as far as this game goes, that's what greatness is, honestly. When you look at all the different aspects, I don't believe technical stuff's great, to be honest, anymore. I'm over that now. There's a whole bunch of fighters with technicals. What's the true marking of greatness is finding a way and being desperate. And that's, unfortunately, it's a very rare commodity today. Very few. I probably couldn't even name 5. Name me 5 fighters today, yeah, that you've seen who have been dying to win. Show me them. Name me them. Go on. I can't name them. I'd say so far, Tyson Fury probably. Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. That's the 2 that come to mind at this particular point in time. Everyone else will get hit a few times and not really want to know anymore. And unfortunately, Alvarez so far for me is in that category now. Just another overpaid guy who don't really want to get stuck in. Don't get me wrong, they're great when they're winning. Yeah, Anthony Johnston, great when he's winning. Adversity comes, he ain't really want to know too much. And I'm sorry, the way Alvarez went out against Bivol is very similar to how AJ lost to Usyk. Where was that gear, that second gear of damn, I'm losing. Let me try something else here. Where was it? This was Alvarez almost got frustrated that Bivol didn't fall apart and then threw his toys out the pram. He wanted Bivol to get hit a few times and fall apart like all the other bums he fought, like Plant Pot and Callum Smith. And I'm not blaming it. I'm not saying I'm not one of them people who say Alvarez cherry picks. No, he's fighting the best around, but that's not great. If you get what I'm saying. The ones Alvarez is beating are the best around, but they're bums. It's what it is. I've been saying that. I've been said that. I've been said Plant fought no one. Billy Joe fought no one. Callum Smith really fought no one. Had proven, none of them a lot proven anything. And even worse, when it was their time to prove something, Billy Joe quit. Plant, he was just never any good. Fair play to Plant. He did get back up, but he just wasn't good enough. Do you know what I'm saying? It's all well and good getting back up, but he just weren't no good. Being a C-level fighter and having some heart, it's not going to cut it, is it? And that's what frustrates me about Alvarez. Alvarez, he has the A-level skills, but we saw a D-level heart tonight, or at the weekend. And anyone disagrees, show me where you saw Alvarez pushing through, finding a way, refusing to lose. Oops. Because for a long time we've heard this narrative that, oh, Alvarez loves boxing. Oh, he loves it. Yeah. Oh, Alvarez is in love with the game. Well, I've seen, historically speaking, people be in love with the game. I've seen Nigel Benn go in there with a killer, Gerald McLennan, get punched out of the ring and find a way. Yeah? That guy in love with the game. I've seen Chris Eubanks Sr. with his eye all punched up and find a way to win. Yeah? I'm not even asking Alvarez to get punched out of the ring or to get his eye bust up, but that's what greatness is, people. Where Alvarez showing that? Where was that? Where did you see Alvarez? Never mind, all he had was a few scrapes on the top of his head. And he rolled over, essentially. Same as the other guy, Valdez. All about self-preservation. No one trying to really get it like that anymore. Way too easy. The mentality, the last 30 years, men in general are down. I'm soft as well, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm saying, no one from this era can be great, really, from what I've seen. They just haven't got it in them. That greatness has been lost. Too soft now, too easy now. All of our lives are too easy, too soft, too easy. The last 30 years has been the worst 30 years for the state of men. That's what this last weekend showed me. Well, for me, this last weekend was the final straw. Yeah, Alvarez was kind of on a pinnacle, I thought, but he's not. He's like the rest of them. Overpaid, on top fighters. That's what, I'm sorry, but that's what we've seen. Now, to be fair to Alvarez, is he going to go away and come back and show something? We'll find out. But as of now, Alvarez is just another overpaid on top fighter. Yeah, who looks great when they're winning. When they're losing, they roll over. And then talk crap in the post-fight about how they was winning. I was winning, this, that, the other. If he was winning that much, why didn't you knock him out, Alvarez? If he was winning that much, why was this the first time in 4 years we've seen you spend half the fight on the ropes? Explain. Innit? Alvarez, why is it? We didn't see you on the ropes once against Billy Joe, against Plant, against Callum Smith. We didn't see you on the ropes once, and you won them fights. Now you're telling me you won this fight as well, but yet, don't tell me. All of a sudden, Mr. Aggressive, Don't forget, people, Alvarez was the one who cut the ring off and chased people down up until this point. We haven't seen, look at, even against Kovalev. Alvarez chased Kovalev down the whole night. No problem. Don't tell me. This was magically somehow all that. The last 4 years of your strategy, you suddenly decided to change it, and it was nothing to do with Bivol. I'm sorry, but we all know when people go to the ropes, they are FUCK'd. Yeah. And it's one thing if that's your style, like Mayweather. Alvarez hasn't been doing that. Don't get me wrong. When Alvarez was younger, before 2018, Alvarez did actually spend quite a lot of time on the ropes. But for the last 4 years, Alvarez's strategy has been march forward, big heavy shots. And we haven't really seen him take a back step since the second Golovkin fight. Oops. And that tells you all you need to know. Yeah? He knows. And that's something that definitely registers as a boxer. You know when you've been chasing everyone down. And that's why he was getting so frustrated, because he's been used to chasing everyone down and everyone being sweet. And for the first time in God knows how many years, he was the one on the ropes, looking like damn, looking like Caleb Plant, looking like a rabbit in headlights. And to be honest, it's only because Bivol, if Bivol was a pound for pound puncher and or more aggressive, Alvarez could have been in serious trouble. There was a few times Alvarez was kind of trying to slip and slide, and he looked a bit like, oh damn. Honestly, there was a few times he got a little bit hairy, and that was against someone who has, Bivol's completely balanced. He has no aggression in his strategy at all. And still, in the whole of Canelo's career, yeah, he's never looked as close to being stopped as he was at the weekend. Even in the Golovkin fights, he was never that close. Because in what you notice in the Golovkin fights, whenever Golovkin got a combination off, Alvarez would shoot straight back. This time, Bivol was getting big combinations off, and Alvarez would just stand there on the ropes looking like a deer in headlights, a rabbit in headlights, and trying to wave him on. Trying to do some sort of bravado. And you know, yeah, like Adrian Broner, you know when someone's on the ropes and their opponents just threw a combination and they don't respond with their own combination, and instead they do some sort of bravado hand thing, you know they're in trouble. Because think about it, if you're not in trouble, fire back. Oops. When your opponent starts teeing off on you and all you've got is some weird hand gesture, you're in trouble. And that's what Alvarez was. And we've never seen that for 4 years. So that tells you all you need to know about how he only won 4 rounds. You only won 3 rounds. How about that? 100%.